every Polish probably asked any foreigner,
Yeah.
why Poland?
Because it's cheap to study, yeah. It's cheap to pay rent, yeah. It's cheap to buy food, yeah. Should I go?
Oh, God.
And
So you started a whole band.
so I remember the first show we were 8 people on stage and 5 people in the audience. So it was basically
5 people.
Yeah.
So you performed for 5 people.
Yeah, but we enjoyed it. But I don't know if the audience enjoyed it as much as we did.
The pageant is amazing.
I would say the pageant was probably the hardest thing I've done in Poland. That after the pageant, everyone was in the top 10 would immediately become an ambassador for the company that I talked to.
You partnered up with the Polish businesses?
Yes, like I wanted the small businesses to sponsor each model in the top 10.
You had the highest attendance in Lublin.
So it's not because just of the band.
The big thing is you performed at the gala, at the Lublin gala,
Yes.
in front of the mayor.
I didn't know. I was chilling. I was doing something. I was chilling. I had no idea.
You're the first foreigner to win the Zurawie Award. The first foreigner. That's amazing. This is gonna be for the celebration. Oh, it blasted.
Cheers.
Way up for
Pleasure was all mine.
Yeah. So cheers for you. You've been everywhere, man. So the whole thing that you've done is impressive. Hello guys, welcome to the first episode of Behind the Logo, powered by Ego, and I'm your host Nate. We have a guest today. He's a producer, promoter of different kinds of events, and a 2022 Zurawie Award winner. And on top of all of that, he's a foreign council advisor in the city of Lublin in Poland. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's Sean.
Thank you again for
Did I miss anything?
That's it now.
Perfect. So I just wanted to ask you first, how long have you been in Poland though?
I've been here for 5 years. So it'll be 5 years in December.
Oh, that's perfect. So that means you actually have to know one sentence in Polish.
Well, we trochę po polsku.
Oh, okay.
We bardzo trochę po polsku.
Okay, so you're good, man. Do you have any other sentence?
Nazywam się Sean. The basic, like elementary level Polish. If I was to like walk in the street, I would sneak my way to the place that I'm going to.
But the language is hard. That's what I would say.
It's part of the truth, man.
Yeah. I'm sure the Polish audience will understand what you're saying because I'm lost, man. But going to the first question that I'm going to ask you, it is actually a generic question that every Polish probably asked any foreigner.
Yeah.
Why Poland?
Because it's cheap to study, yeah. It's cheap to pay rent, yeah. It's cheap to buy food, yeah. Should I go?
Oh, go on.
It's cheap to it's cheap basically.
Yeah. Did you have like any other European countries in mind?
Initially I actually wanted to go to Canada. But then COVID happened and all the money that was there became half. Let's put it that way. And then so I was now like just scanning around countries, which countries to like to study in. And I was looking at Sweden, but it was also pretty pricey. I looked at Norway, and then I see Poland was affordable, and then I rushed to Poland.
Yeah, that's mostly all foreigners. The stories,
It's always
the story is always the same. So, was there any cultural conflict?
Yeah, man. The lack of warmth in Poland, not geographically, but in terms of people, man. Like there was no smiles, and this was COVID, so generally people are going through a lot. But then it was so very like distant. Even like I didn't know any of my neighbors for like a year.
Yeah,
and it was crazy. So yeah, the lack of warmth, and also like it's mostly the lack of warmth, the social interaction. The weather wasn't that bad. I mean, there's air conditioners everywhere. I think people over exaggerate on the weather, but yeah, for me it was the social interaction.
Yeah, I think the weather have a big play as well on the social interactions that we have. Like people just seems like a little bit depressed when it comes to winter.
Yeah, I mean, winter it's definitely depressing. I think for everyone, because
Yeah,
it's everything is gray, and you see like Polish people like enjoying the snow.
yeah.
I've never seen the joy of playing in snow.
Hmm.
So it's even worse for foreigners out there.
Of course, man. I've been looking at your catalog and the the whole thing that you have done is impressive. So I wanted to ask you, you have done a lot of events
Yeah,
from what I've seen, music concerts, you have done pageant shows,
yeah.
sports. You've been everywhere, man.
Yeah.
So, but what is your background like before you came to Poland, or what inspired you to do this?
Um, what inspired me didn't come like probably from my background. You know,
Mhm.
I wasn't as okay. I was pretty active. I was social at school,
Yeah.
but I had obviously no musical experience.
Mm.
I was never in the choir.
Yeah.
I was more like sports and you know
Mm.
just like enjoying high school. But when I came to Poland, like I came during COVID,
Yeah.
so we were like that generation that spent almost every single day at home. And it
Mm.
was really, really hard for the first foreigners that got here because we didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
You're in a new country and your world is your room.
Mm.
So once the first restrictions were laid down, well, I was so happy, man. Like I need to try everything. Because you know, if you're stuck in your room, you feel like a prisoner. So the
Yeah.
moment that we're released, everyone was just like, wanna go out, wanna go out.
Mm.
But then I'm not really a club person. I don't know. It's just not for me. It's not my type of lifestyle.
Mhm.
So I was like, I'm gonna do something for people like me who really wanna go out but then can't find anything. So I then got a crazy idea to start a band. And in 2021, you know, we had 2021, I think around November, we had our first show.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Wow.
that's how that started.
That's like you started with a music show.
Yeah, it's music show with a band. We were about 8 people, and
So you started a whole band.
yeah. The other advantage that I had is I kind of knew a lot of people, so it was
Okay.
easy to get people together.
Mm.
But then it wasn't easy to convince people to come watch us. So I remember the first show we were 8 people on stage and 5 people in the audience. So it was basically
5 people.
Yeah.
So you performed for 5 people.
Yeah, people were singing their hearts out to 5 people. And it was, you
Wow.
know, but we enjoyed it, but I don't know if the audience enjoyed it as much as we did. So yeah, it was that's how that started.
That is crazy for an audience like for 5 people.
5 people.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the pageant is amazing. Like, how
Oh.
did you come up with the pageant?
So the pageant came like 2 years later. That was 2023.
Mhm.
By then I'd already like done the music stuff. I'd already had like big concerts. It was now not 5 people, but you know, 100, 150.
Yeah.
And also had done a sporting event. So I now had the audacity to try a pageant. But I would say the pageant was probably the hardest thing I've done in Poland because first of all, I'm a guy. So what
Yeah.
is a guy doing running a pageant? And obviously, you know, it's the irony of it is we're not in a world where there are equal opportunities,
Mm.
but if a guy goes in
Yeah.
a feminine industry, it's
It's a bit tough.
yeah, it gets complicated.
Mm.
So I was trying to like reach out to some of my friends like that I know from entertainment, but they were like, it's
Yeah,
politically.
it sounds a little bit shady.
Yeah. It's like, that was really because I had to do it alone, and I think the model that we had is like I wanted the small businesses
Mhm.
to sponsor each model in the top 10,
Mm.
like to buy their dresses. So I wanted to it was a sort of like pathway to get enterprise and entertainment together, and so that after the pageant, everyone was in the top 10 would immediately become an ambassador for the companies that I talked to.
Oh.
So that was like the whole plan, mixing enterprise and entertainment. So it was a really, really big risk. So I partnered with a business to like one of the things that we did, we partnered with a business to host the pageant on Instagram, like I think it was a consultancy business, and then sort of they paid us. And then now so like the costs were already minimized because we already had a sponsor indirectly by them hosting like the page on their Instagram. And then for the people, like, you know, the girls, they had to get sponsored by a specific business. And it was, you know, that was the whole like theory for it. The hardest thing was now, like, obviously most of the foreigners are students, and obviously we were, I mean, both Europeans and Africans. A pageant takes months, but we had a plan of making it a maximum of 2 weeks from auditions to the final show. So we then had like a lot of dropouts just because of school. So it was really, 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 really difficult trying to balance the personal side, the financial side, and we were like a really small team of like 4 or 5 people. So it was probably the most stressful thing I've done.
But what is the thing is, like, you partnered up with the Polish businesses?
So we had our main sponsor was a consultancy for like foreign students who come to Poland. So that's it wasn't necessarily a Polish business, but the business registered in Poland, because it like does students from Africa, also from Ukraine, from Turkey, what you'd call like non-EU countries. So for them, it was a really like big deal, because I mean, it's done by an African. It's got African people. It's got also European people. It's got some Polish people also. So it was a really, really. So they were the highest bidder of that, because only one like page could host that.
That's crazy. And at some point, that you have the highest attendance. You had the highest attendance in Lublin.
In Lublin, that was for a gospel concert. So we did that 2023. So what made it the highest was not because just of the band. You know, sometimes when you're doing events, you have to look at the numbers. Obviously, you're a YouTuber, you know how important numbers are.
Of course.
So if you want to get numbers in anything, you look at what you'd call constituencies or representations of a specific area. So if you really want to have big numbers, the only show that works in the African market or sector is a gospel show, because there's so many
Everybody
churches.
goes,
So you just invite the church and you've got everyone from that church coming.
Wow.
So that's what made it easy to get like really big numbers, because we invited like 8 to 10 churches and like 10 solo artists. So it was very easy, because churches were basically rolling in their people.
That is crazy. Like 400 or how many
it was
people?
Like 480.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people. I know a lot of production people who are struggling to get 50 people. So 400 people.
No, it was and that was a blessing, you know, because it was a gospel concert. So having so many people and the night was beautiful. I'd say it was probably my personal favorite in terms of events, because it was like different cultures. We had obviously different countries represented, and it was such an amazing mixture of culture and gospel.
Wow. And the big thing is, you performed at the Lublin Gala.
Yes.
In front of the mayor.
Yes. That was 2022. And it was a big deal for us, because probably 8 months before, it was like our first show that I told you about, like 5 people. And then, you know, through work, dedication from not just me, like from a lot of people, like the music director that we had, Kota Natswa, and all the singers and the band members, we managed to get a slot at the Lublin Gala. And it was our first privately paid gig, and it was for one song. And I can say that it's 3 years. 3 years, I can say the amount. So it was for one song, which was 4 minutes, and it was around 250 zloty per person, because the whole thing was like 2.5. So it's like 2.5. That's when we were like, if the band was smaller, there would be more money. Because it was like they pay for the whole band, not for individual artists. And you know, like at that time, 300, 400 zloty was like groceries for a month. So
but what does it take, like, to perform on the gala? Like, what did you have to do?
Connections. Connections. So the advantage that we had was, you know, generally when you go to a different country, there's sort of a stigma towards African people as a group. And that this is one thing I've really learned or seen in life. but an African person as an individual, man, it's really
really
good, because they're like, he's trying something new in a different space. So the problem is, if there's a sort of like, I don't call it xenophobia, but then there's a reservation if it's 50-50. There are 10 Polish people, there are 10 Africans, they're gonna separate. But if it's one African person and 10 Polish people, they're gonna surround
They're gonna surround
they're
you.
gonna surround you. So we managed to sort of like expedite the whole process, because we were like, these are the only Africans who are doing this. These are the only foreigners who are doing this. So we managed to get a lot of friends, like Polish friends, Polish connections, that helped us to like fast forward. Because what would have taken, if I'm to be fair, most people 3-4 years, took us a couple of months, because they were like, look at this young African movement of like 5 to 8 people. Let's surround them in this like lonely world. And that's kind of what helped us.
That's really beautiful, because me, when I became like a podcaster in this YouTube world, I have seen a lot of people, and before that I was not connecting. And when I started connecting, like I've seen like a lot of people who are doing different things in the art space. So connection is one of the most important things.
It's very important. And I think when people think of networking, the mistake that most people make is they think go to networking events. I don't even like networking events, because everyone is going there to do the same thing. And you're gonna save that number and be forced to say hi 3 days later, and then you've got no stories. Because if you're at a networking event, you're like, I'm here to meet people. That's never a good way to meet people. If you go to a specific event to meet people, you won't meet anyone and have a substantial what do you call it, relationship. But then if you go and you meet someone, people really love it when you go to things that they go to. So I remember I'd go to like certain events, man, and I'd be so bored, but I'm like, I'm there because I know I need to form that connection to kind of get where I want or what I need. So I remember going to like a lot of events, man, and I'm obviously I do love art, but then European art and African art, it's two different worlds. But I'd go there to support, because I'm like, if I'm there and I'm showing up, there's a relationship formed. They're like, this guy is not just using us, he actually does care and actually is willing to learn what we also have to offer, not just like impose what he has.
Definitely. Just going to places where people you can make your valuable connections with is actually the best way to have a good connection, right?
I think that's the easiest way. It's like if you guys are having a wedding and then I show up, like, what is this guy doing? That's kind of how formations are made.
I think that's what foreigners, especially living in Poland, that have to learn. Because we're just doing like our 9 to 5s and just stuck at home and like not making any connections or anything. So that's a brilliant way.
I think another thing, sorry to interrupt,
no worries,
is sometimes as foreigners we're too loyal to ourselves that we actually don't break that ice. And I think that's also the disadvantage that, obviously I know there are a lot of Ethiopians, there are also a lot of Zimbabweans. Most people come knowing people already. So you come with 5 friends.
You just be stuck with that 5 friends.
Because you don't need to make any new friends. So sometimes it's like breaking that mode and going to a place where you're the outsider, you're the lonely person. And that actually breaks you into better, like into different spaces. Because like I said, if you had a group of 5 friends at a Polish event, no one is gonna come to your group because you guys are too many. You can't form a connection with 5 people. But then if you
gotta integrate.
If you're an individual or if it's 2 people, that's kind of how you deal with the culture.
Perfect. Welcome back, guys, to Behind the Logo, powered by Ego. We stopped at a critical point. We're talking about connections and stuff. Who gave you the first opportunity, or what connection gave you the first opportunity?
All right. So my first connection was this lady called. So what actually happened with this music thing? I probably forgot one. So I was the first foreigner to be part of this, like the second largest studio And it was also linked to like the university that I was studying at that time, to be part of the TV team. So there was a big discussion on giving me my own show. So what I realized was the show was gonna take 5 to 6 months. So I was like, okay, if you do a show, you're gonna be like famous, it's gonna be it's a really good step for my career. But I was like, I don't think this is the because I'm also quite religious. I thought at that time God wanted me to bring people together. Like that's kind of what I had in my heart. So I was like, this show thing, it's a vanity project. At first you're starting off as an intern, then probably you'd get paid later. So I was like, you know what? I'm now in the building, because the building was called Hatkajaka, and that's where the studio was, like downstairs. Then I see this like music stuff. It's got like 4 layers of like practice rooms and music stuff. So I was like, you know what? Let's start a band. And that's kind of how I started. And my first connection was this lady called Agnieszka Matetska. So that was like the person who like I talked to after I'd been part of like the TV crew, that I actually want to do a band instead of the TV stuff. And that's how the whole thing started.
Wow. But what advice would you give like to foreigners actually to make this type of connections, to do or whatever they want with like on the things that they are passionate about?
I suppose the most important thing, and this is kind of like my mantra right now, is embrace your privilege. I mean, the moment you leave the country, your home country, you're already privileged. I mean, we've got Wi-Fi now. Yeah. You know what I mean? We've got Wi-Fi, we've got electricity, we've got convenience. Like that's the thing that we take for granted once we get to Poland. That it's actually pretty convenient. Like everything is convenient. Things like punctuality, if you're going to work starts at 8, you don't have to wait for electricity for 45 minutes. We've got Wi-Fi everywhere. Like everywhere is connected. And also understanding what your privilege is. Everyone has an opportunity, no matter how disadvantaged or advantaged you are. So one example that I always use is everyone wants to be tall, right? That's like sort of I mean, okay, every guy wants to be tall, but then there's some advantages that shorter people have compared to taller people. If there's a crime in this room right now, the tallest person is most likely to be suspected of that crime, especially if it's like murder, than the shorter person. And so in every single thing where you think at disadvantage, we talked about the dancing, Poland is a beautiful country. I would say economically it's way better than my country, but these guys can't dance. I can dance. You know what I mean? So it's sometimes embracing your privilege and also understanding what's lacking in that certain environment, and then also showing what you have without imposing your country on them. So it's not like, don't come to someone's house. It's like I come here and I'm like, move that picture there and put it there. No, come here with humility and say, this is your house. I'm just here to add what you allow me to add. And I think that's kind of the main thing on just like on being friendly or getting opportunities in Poland. Just embracing your privilege. What you've learned from Ethiopia, I know one thing about Ethiopia. You guys have like really good food. I think this is actually an Ethiopian restaurant.
You had Ethiopian food?
I tried to have. I tried to have. There was a lot of spice in it, so I lasted 30 seconds.
You don't like that spice?
No, I like spicy food, but I realized I hadn't ate spicy food until I ate Ethiopian food. I'm like, okay, I haven't been eating spices, and that's the thing where there's certain sort of mannerisms. There's a certain way of life in Ethiopia that can be mimicked anyway. A boy from Addis Ababa has certain privileges that a boy from Harare doesn't have, or a boy from Mosul doesn't have. So actually embracing what you already have, be it your height, if you're good at sports, if you're good at music, embrace it. And the second thing, monetize your hobbies. That's the thing that I've really learned in Poland. If there's one thing I've learned in Poland, monetize your hobbies. I have a friend, he's an engineer. And he on the weekend teaches, I think, snowboarding during winter. I'm like, he's an engineer, but then he's teaching snowboarding like in the weekend. Like, you're an engineer, dude. How do you find time for that? Snowboarding, exactly. So the problem with that sometimes Africans face is once we get a job, we aren't really pushed to make more money. We're doing everything to hold on to this job, but we actually don't diversify our income. I've got friends who came to Poland, went back, and they were like, I feel robbed. Yeah. I feel like I was just working, but I didn't really do anything. So monetizing your hobbies, some people are good football players. There are some lower end football teams you could try for. You could coach football. I know a guy who's actually coaching football now. If you can sing, no one sings like an Ethiopian girl, So teach them how to sing like an Ethiopian girl. Yeah. That kind of mixes that whole embracing who you are and then monetizing that, because at the end of the day, with the TRCs and everything, you're always in a rush to make money. So you have to monetize like your hobbies. For example, another thing that I've been doing is I've been refereeing. So I actually started a refereeing course, and I've been working on like getting my referee badges. And on the weekend, I've already managed like a few tournaments. I make like
refereeing like a basketball match?
No, football matches. I'm from a football background. So if you're like what I mentioned, there's never been a black referee in Poland. So if I'm like the only black referee in Poland, and there's a friendly match between Poland and Ethiopia, and there's one black guy, who are they gonna choose? So that's the thing of like, there's so many different pockets or so many different spaces you can try out by just the stuff you already have without even learning stuff. I know a lot of people are trying to learn AI. We're late at learning AI. This has been there for a while. Yes, you can learn it, but there's certain things that are still valuable and you can sell them.
Definitely. I really agree with monetizing your hobbies. Especially there are a really good speakers out there, but they're not starting their podcast.
So I mean the equipment is expensive. But that's true.
I mean, you have your phone, right? Like, you can film anything.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere. So that's a really valid point when it comes to foreigner. As me myself, I'm a foreigner, so I know how it's going on.
Yeah.
So, and when it comes to like business things, what advice do you give like for people who want to start business in foreign countries?
In foreign countries, the most important thing, know the legalities. I don't think I've ever shared this on a podcast. I once tried real estate, as an agent, because there are sort of like sub-agents where like there's an apartment. I don't know if you guys have it in the Ethiopian circle where like someone finds an apartment, then you pay them. But then I tried it for like 2 months. And I'm like, nah, I do not understand this. And that's the thing of like, first of all, know what you know and use that. It's very hard to start something that you don't know. The problem is that people want to start from point 0 to point like 100. Nah, it's the stuff that use that. And so first of all, know your legalities. Second of all, know what people want, and also know what is not financially worth your time. I've seen people like try to do events or entertainment, and trust me, that's the hardest thing to make money at. Like, it's the hardest thing to make money. Like, the gap is so small, and
the profit margin,
it's so small. It's really, what do you think? I don't know if I should say this, but why do you think most money laundering happens in entertainment? Because it's so difficult. So you also have to understand, is it worth your time and your energy? Because you might get fired focusing on this on this side job or this hustle. So know how expensive it is, not just financially, emotionally. I've seen people start businesses and those businesses ended them. So when you're starting a business, understand how much of your time it's going to take, how much of your energy emotionally it's going to take, because you'll be emotionally bankrupt at the end if you start something without knowing how much you have to emotionally invest in it. Second thing, the safest thing is start a business for your people, because if you start a business, the thing is that everyone starts a business is like, I want the Polish market. The Polish people want the Polish market. Where are you coming from, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, and try to get that market? Start with the people you know. If your business can't survive your country, why are you trying to go international? It's like trying to be a local rapper and you say, I want to be on Billboard, but you've never charted in Ethiopia or in Zimbabwe. Sometimes, we listen a bit too much to motivational speakers and we think we can do anything. But I always think, if you can't, the step for a business is, does it work with the Ethiopians or Zimbabweans in that region? Yes, okay. Does it work with the other foreigners? Yes, okay. Does it work for the Polish people? Then you can start that business.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll just be wasting time.
Welcome back to Behind the Logo. If you have been watching until this point, please like, subscribe, share this episode. Sean,
yeah?
we were having an amazing
conversation.
Yeah.
both on screen and off screen.
On screen and off screen. So, you're the first foreigner to win the Zurawie Award.
Mm-hmm.
The first foreigner. That's amazing. And it's in 2022.
Yeah, that was 2022.
How did you do it? Yeah.
I cheated. I'm joking. So maybe let me explain the award. So the Zurawie Award is like the award given to like the most promising young person. But the word young is very vague. It's 18 from 35. So the most promising young artist or producer of art or promoter. I think, I'm not sure if it's in Poland or if it's in the region. Probably it's in the Lubelski region. So it's the first process is you have to be nominated by someone that you don't know personally. So like that's the nomination thing. So I don't know who nominated me. Thank you whoever nominated me if you're watching. So I got nominated, and then after that they then cut down. They then go like to the experts to cut down from all like the numerous nominees, because some people like will nominate someone that no one has ever heard of.
So you didn't know that you were nominated?
I didn't know. I was chilling. I was doing something. I was chilling. I had no idea. And then they've got 3 nominees. And then I remember when the 3 nominees came out, they released it on like Facebook, but I didn't even follow that one at that time, because I'd only been in the industry, so to say, in like 7-8 months. 6-7 months. It was just after the gala, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm nominated for this award. I don't know what it's about. Cool. And then after that, they then for 2 weeks, you're meeting them. You're meeting. You're talking. And at this time, I'm still chilled. I'm just like, it's nothing. And then you have to like make videos. Yeah. And then on the day, I'm like, no, this is a big deal. Because, if you want to know something is a big deal, I saw a sign language person there. I'm like, this is the big time. I'm like, this is the big time. If got people for sign language. And then, they were giving us like translator, like earphone translators.
It was a big stage as well.
Big stage, and obviously there was TVP was there, like different TV stations. I'm like, damn.
You're probably the first black person to be shown on TVP.
I was the only black person there, and my girlfriend who like at that time, ex-girlfriend, sorry. We'll talk about that. Ex-girlfriend, and we're the audience. And then the first round is the nomination. We get the nomination, and then now they're announcing. So they asked me to organize the performance. So like there was a performance that was done. We dedicated it to HIV and AIDS. And then after the performance, I'm sitting down, and then because there's a translator, I'm understanding. Then they said, this isn't a national award, but it's gonna be intercontinental. Like, I'm bored already. So I was already out. Like, what you say was like intercontinental, international. I'm like,
yeah.
And then when I got there,
the only black guy there.
Yeah, I was the only black guy. I was the only foreigner there.
Wow. So
I go because they give it to 4 different respects. So there is animation, there is videography, there is music, and there is sound. I didn't know there was a difference between music and sound.
Yeah.
There's sound and there's music. And then I go on stage, and I can talk for hours, but I just was like, I started speaking like bad Polish because I'm panicking. I'm like, dziękuję bardzo. Like I'm shaking everyone's hand, and then because I think what I also realized was like there was also money to the award. So I'm open. I'm like, mayor's signature. I was happy, man. I was
The
happy.
mayor was also present at that time.
No, the mayor wasn't there, but then he signed a certificate.
Okay.
And then I had to go like to the mayor's office. I think a week later. I think for just a handshake. I got the handshake,
Wow,
and then
got the handshake.
I got the golden handshake, and then I came. You know, then that was the award. And now like I do get invited to the award because it's every year. I'm not yet big enough to be an expert, but then I get invited to it, which is pretty exclusive. Oh, wow. So I went last year, you know, seeing who else is winning the award, and it's like there's a trophy, and then there's also a big plaque that you keep, like probably this size. Wow. And it's nice. It's a good thing. Wow. So opened a lot of doors also.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that. What kind of opportunities?
I started getting better venues. I started getting bigger venues. I started knowing more people. Like it opened so many doors, not just for me personally, but just for Africans in general. So I got this, you know, like if you're doing an event, you have to rent a place. I was now getting deals where you don't pay rent. You do a 80-20 split. Okay. On tickets. And that 20 for them includes security. So these are like legendary type deals because you can't lose. Wow. You're not paying rent, so you really can't lose.
So you're taking 80%.
You're taking 80%, and their 20% is for security. Wow. And obviously, and it was. I don't. Obviously, now that I'm now in Warsaw, there's someone who kind of uses that venue every summer because I was like, I had to pass it on, you know, for continuity. Yeah. But like those are the deals I was getting, and especially in like I could now say I want to have an event next week and have it, and that was a blessing that I didn't take lightly, and that's when I started also going crazy and just trying everything because you now have more opportunities to host things. And it was really, really good. It was amazing.
Wow, this is amazing. I've never met a person who won an award.
You have now.
It's a pleasure to meet you. So you spoke about passing down maybe the event venue like to people and stuff. Yeah. I didn't mention one thing. Yeah. Well, what would you say about working together, like as foreigners, becoming like we have a lot of producers, promoters, and all of it, especially in Warsaw, like it's a big city. Yeah. So if we became like together or something like make it an organization or a company, a moving company, like as a foreigners. Wouldn't you think like we'll be more successful in that regards?
Nah, I don't. In a simple word, no. I think it's an issue of different ideas, ideology, and different inspirations. You know, in La La Land or in heaven, we can do that. On earth, on earth under the sun, nah, man. Impossible. The thing is that it's different. Yeah. Mostly it's the ideology. Second is I wouldn't call it selfishness, but I would call it artistic selfishness. Where like, for example, imagine if you decide to, every podcaster in Warsaw, you're like, you are now part of my podcast. You would leave after one day. Because there'll be just like different ideas, different visions. Sometimes people think people break up because of money, but it's different ideas. What I do like is competition. You know, if it's gonna be competition, let's let that competition push us up rather than push us down. I hate pull down competition where like I'm gonna target him to become lower so that I can get higher. Let's all go for it. Let's want to beat the other guy very like aggressively, not kill him, but I want to be better than you so that you can be better than me, then I can be better than you. I think that's I don't believe in this whole let's join and let's make one thing. If that was the case, we wouldn't have democracy.
I think it doesn't work when it comes to artistic worlds.
I don't think it works. It comes to anything. I like, be it politics, be it business, especially business, because business now there's money invested. Be it art, be it, imagine it's like having a football match. You both want to win, but you're on different teams because you have different ideas. That's like basically passing the ball around and no goals, and no one wants that. So I've never really, and I also struggle to collaborate because I work in a different way than most people, and I'm not really like, obviously everyone who promotes or does events, it's mostly club events. I don't do club events because it's not my type of thing. So it's sometimes, it comes back to ideology. I don't think people can mix.
I get it.
But if you get everyone on your podcast and make one podcast, I'll start doing the same.
Maybe I will convince you. Yeah. So when it comes to the next question, in 2023, you became the foreigners counselor, advisor for
advisory counselor. So that also kind of was out by the award because it came maybe 5 months after the award. And also I was doing a lot, man. Like I wasn't just doing music. I was doing sports. I was doing videos also, like sort of directing videos. I was speaking at schools. So I was really in there. I was doing quite a lot for me not to be included. So like it comes back to that thing that I said, that like doing a lot of things that you don't want to do. I hated speaking in schools, man. Everyone is Polish. They're just happy to see a black person and they're just nodding. They don't understand anything. And you've got to explain on things like public presentation. And it didn't like, so I was doing all that stuff. So they were like, at that time, 2023, Lublin got elected as the youth capital of Europe. So it was a pretty big deal that like the mayor's office work in it, and different, and they wanted like different voices, different ideas on what to do things. They even opened different buildings. It was a really good time for the city. So I was fortunate enough to be included as the advisory counselor, and I'd go to the meetings. There'll be a translator, and you're like,
but bro, like, teach us how to get in those type of pockets, like as foreigners.
I mean, in Warsaw, it's harder. That's what I would say first. Lublin is a pretty small city, but in Warsaw, it's more complicated. It's sparsed out. In Lublin, it was an issue of like I said, I can't describe anything without mentioning God, because like for me, it's God's hand. I was just lucky. I was the body He chose for that specific time. But yeah, it's God, and it's also right time, right place, right everything. So,
wow, that's amazing. Welcome back to Behind the Logo, presented by Ego, and we have been having a lot of amazing conversations. So let me ask you. You are the foreigners counselor. You have been in the office. And what is the misconceptions that foreigners have about Poland?
About Poland, I would say, I don't know. I know, but I've heard from most people. But in my personal opinion, there's obviously racism. That's like every parent, every African parent, every African relative is like, Poland, I've never heard of Poland, so it must be racist, which, isn't really, really true. But I wouldn't say there's a difference between racism and xenophobia. Now, xenophobia is something that sounds like a really bad word, but then when you look at the definition, it's basically someone who doesn't want other people from other countries to come to their country or flood their country. When you come, and then when you look at it, I would say most people are xenophobic. Would you like it if 10 million Zimbabweans came to Ethiopia and was competing for the same resources as you? Probably not. So I wouldn't say that there's racism in Poland. I think now, obviously, there's a bit more. This anti-immigration necessarily isn't racism. Now, there's a difference between the politics and what I would call the ethical and the social mindset of the average Pole. So the politics now, there was a anti-immigration march not too long ago.
Yes.
Is anti-immigration racism? It, like, in your head you'll be like, yeah, probably it is racism, because when you think of an immigrant, unfortunately, it looks like us in RIV. So out in the Polish people that I know on an individual basis, be it in business, be in what, if you're contributing something, I haven't really faced racism. But now I can't still say this in bold or in stone, because I would say that the tension towards anti-immigration has increased that racism. Because it's like there's so many people coming to our countries, from Ukraine, from Belarus, from Asia, from Africa. So I think that's kind of the mood right now. And obviously for Africans, we feel it. We are a bit more scared, like with the whole anti-immigration stuff. So that's the biggest misconception. I don't think traditionally, we also have to understand Poland hasn't gotten a chance to be racist yet. Like, there wasn't a lot of foreigners coming into Poland, that it's war, that it's different difficulties. So this we're the pioneers. This is their first time experience in Africa. And I don't know, in biology there's something called fight or flight, where if you see an enemy, you're gonna fly or you're gonna fight. I would say in terms of social interactions, it's either you're gonna be loved or you're not gonna, or you're gonna be hated. There is no middle ground. Because this is new for them. It's, I don't know, like an African person seeing a white person for the first time. How are they gonna react? So that's the same thing of it's a chance worth taking on. Like, don't be afraid of the racism, because there's literally, even the last election proves it, there's a 50% chance whether you're gonna be loved or hated. Because look at the election polls. It's literally, I think, 0.5%. So do take that chance to ask what you want to ask for. Like I mentioned earlier, we do have a privilege of being in a country that kind of works right now. Systems are working. There's Wi-Fi. I don't like keep repeating on Wi-Fi, but like there's Wi-Fi everywhere. Like where I come from, there's no Wi-Fi everywhere. We have Wi-Fi, but not everywhere. The economy is growing from what I see. So it's worth to jump that bridge and extend your arms, and also be vulnerable and say, I know this, but I also don't know this, and I want to learn from you. So that's the thing, is make an effort to meet them halfway, because they don't need your friendship as much as you need them. That's why most people,
I get that they're in their country, so they
no one is that. This is a bad example to use. No one is meeting the person from Africa for citizenship. I'll put it like that. So that's that would be my advice. Is yes, we have friends, yes, we have groups. It's easy to speak from people from your country, but you have to make that extra step to meet them halfway, because we came here. There are more people trying to learn Polish in Poland than are married. So we have, if this is a business podcast, demand and supply. The demand is for Polish. And also, also you have to kind of learn Polish. Not necessarily because you need Polish to get a job, no. But you need Polish to show that you care. Because I've heard people who have been here 10 years and don't speak a word in Polish. Like, what are you doing? Like you don't have to be fluent in Polish, but you have to at least show that, hey, at one point in my life, I tried to know Dzień dobry, and I tried to have a conversation in Poland. So in Polish. So that's sort of like learning the basics, also about the culture, about sort of like their history. And this takes like a weekend, really. It's just a bit of investment on
just making a couple of research.
Because if you come to someone's house and you don't know them, you're a thief, basically. So we can't come to this house called Poland and not know the language, know who they are, what they eat, and expect us to be treated as visitors.
I get it. But was there any? Do you have any stories where you have a difficult interactions with Polish or?
Initially, no, but now it's like I said. Now I thought there's a bit the temperatures change. I mean, you've been here 4 years.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's
now.
different now.
There's no, first of all, I think they've gotten used to having Africans. And now there's not that specialness of being African. Like, oh, he's from Africa. Where are you from? I have that old joke of like, you're from Ethiopia. I know someone from South Africa. That joke is gone. They know enough.
Yeah.
So they're like, what are you doing? Yeah. It's never, what are you doing? It's now, what are you
doing?
doing?
Yeah.
You know, the voices change.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've had, not personally, I haven't had any racial experiences, but I've heard that someone, not too long ago, someone was thrown, like a stone was thrown at someone around the election phase. And I'm like, in Warsaw? That's surprising. So it shows like now the atmosphere has changed. I haven't personally experienced racism. I would be lying. Like personal racism, no, I would be lying.
Yeah, because online, how Poland is portrayed, I would say it's like a kind of racist country, as a kind of racist country. But me personally, I didn't experience that.
Yeah, I think it's, but also we also probably have to understand that racism doesn't happen at, like, if you're a foreigner, you're mostly in a foreigner circle. So like the dangerous areas, you wouldn't go there.
Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
Like, what will you be doing there? So I wouldn't expect you to have gone through like any racism. Discrimination does happen, obviously. If you had a Polish party and the phone is stolen, we know what we're gonna look at first. So I haven't seen hardcore racism. Discrimination is normal. I mean, it's bad, but it's normal.
Yeah, I would consider it as misunderstanding or not having that many knowledge about foreigners, and because they're a very locked country. Like
it's very stuck in its tradition.
Yeah, so I would say that I would put that. So we have spoken about many of your achievements that you have done, but I want to ask you. I want you to be honest with me. I want you to be honest with this point. Was there any point where you felt like quitting or?
I mean, 2023, I actually did quit for like 3 months. Because I was done. I was tired. Like it was like this whole ascension thing, right? It was great, but it also didn't feel rewarding enough. I was like, but I haven't really done as much as I think I can. So I shut down, like literally shut down. And I think the thing that really killed me was, with confidence comes complacency. Like if you're confident in something, comes a little bit of complacency. And I was trying things that were probably bigger than me. And like we wanted to make a movie. So I got all my director friends. We even had auditions. The first week was beautiful, man. Auditions, everything. And this was gonna be like something that was probably gonna financially be very, very rewarding. But hey, we realized that to make a movie, you need a lot of money. But it was a lot of people. I was the main runner or manager of the project.
Yeah.
But we realized now it's bigger than us. And after like investing so much, like you can invest money, but there's something that I call emotional energy. Because like you come to the podcast, you've obviously invested in the equipment, the time, the everything. But the emotion, this is your baby. It's like when you paint something, you're invested in this. So when it dies, you die. So when this baby that we're making died, we were like, wait. A part of me died. Yeah, a part of me died. And I'm like, is this all necessary? Should I just work and not try anything else? And I didn't want to do it anymore. I stopped.
But how did you overcome it though?
For me to overcome it, I had to see, like, I had to be in the audience again. See, like, why I did it in the first place. What it caused. And also had some people say, why do you do this anymore? I'm like, I don't think it's, and also I didn't feel like I was also appreciated enough for what I had done. I mean, obviously when you look at the achievements, in terms of what's written down, it's really amazing achievements. But then people be like, he's lucky. And I'm like, I am lucky, yes, but I also worked hard for this. So I was now really, really drained, and getting back on the horse for me was very, very difficult. And I actually had to, like, now I only do maybe 3 or 4 a year. Like at that time I was doing once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then now I do but in the 3 or 4 that I do a year, they're amazing to me, because I'm like, I've got more time. I'm not as invested emotionally in them. It's not my be all and end all. It's something that I do from. It's now more like a passion project that you can financially make money from. So yeah, that's kind of. I had to take baby steps. I had to relearn. I had to study. I had to find myself again and find myself where I am. Obviously, change cities, of course. Find where I am, and also like restart, like mentally.
Wow, because the one thing that is difficult is not just building. Building is difficult, of course, but when you fell down, getting up is the most difficult part.
It's very hard, because when you fall, I mean, there's always this thing that in Poland, you're always like one bad move from being homeless.
One bad move.
One bad move from being homeless. And I think that's the only thing that I would say is really hard in Poland is the TRC thing. Yeah. It's like, obviously, we came as students, we work, but it always feels, and this is the thing why I was doing so many things, we always have 2 or 3 years. It's never like a 10-year, so it's never like a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
Because, when we came from Ethiopia, from Zimbabwe, we're like, we're going to be there for 10 years, make money, come back, invest in Africa.
Yeah.
We work harder than the Europeans, want to go there and make money. And then we got here and we're like, no, we do work hard, but there's so many things that stop you from working as hard as you can. So with that, there's so many obstacles. Like, really, there's so many things that stop you. Like, and even also people say, I actually wrote an article in this once where, like, if we take a wild animal and we domesticate it, we think it's going to like survive or thrive. But then when you domesticate a wild animal, sometimes it finds it hard to actually adjust to domesticated life where food is provided, there's no hunting, there's no activity, there's no what I call freedom. And again, that's how I see sort of Africans, as where most of our countries, everything is flexible. I mean, the corruption there, man. And people still, when we think about corruption, we think at the highest office, but there's corruption everywhere. That it's almost kind of funny and flexible, because you're like, okay, even I can do corruption at my level. So when you come to a Poland where you're like, I've never heard anyone bribe.
Corruption.
And no one has ever bribed in Poland, and it doesn't even feel normal to bribe. So when you now get to a place where everything is so structured, you're like, damn, this is new for me. You might not see it immediately. You might even be grateful for it. But there's a certain freedom that you lose from being in a structured system. So that's
everything have rules.
Everything has rules. Everything has legalities. In Africa, you start a business today. And then you worry about the legality 10 years later. and for that, when you say what is like, you then have to bribe someone after some time. You don't have to.
You have the money now. You can bribe anybody.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know if I've ever told this story. There's a lady who started a business selling pies. So it was like 2021. And it was booming, man. Then someone snitched. And then the case was, she got charged 30,000 euros.
Wow, 30,000 euros.
Yeah, in bag tickets, because they were like, they didn't. Obviously, you do not have receipts or you don't have books. You're just getting bleaked money. Bleak me the 50. Nice. And then obviously, I mean, after 30,000, what you gotta do? Right? Like it's impossible. So that's the thing of like, it then sort of like limits certain things that you would make it easier if it was in Africa. Like, this system is really good, but then also there are some hindrances to that system.
Definitely. People have to know the regulations, the rules, and
very important.
Yeah, when you are going like for the Western countries when you're trying to open up a business
Yeah.
or any type of activities which include finances, you just have to know the rules.
Yeah, that's
So-
the rules are.
Yeah.
I
So
even-
we've spoken a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm very sure our audience have gathered many knowledge about your achievement and what can be done as a foreigner and to what level that you can reach. And I'm very sure there are a lot of levels you haven't unlocked yet.
Yeah,
So-
no, I'm still learning.
Yeah,
man.
you're still learning. I
I'm
know.
still in kindergarten. There are some people who've really done great things.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, that's amazing. So what's an advice that you can give for anybody who wants to do what you do, like who wants to be a promoter, who wants to be an owner of something, who wants to strive on their own turf? What kind of advice would you give them?
first thing is be selfish, and not financially. You know, when people say selfishness is sort of like financial selfishness, but really put yourself first in the sense of you are the one who's doing this thing. So, like, I believe one of my things I really believe in life is everyone is selfish. We're just selfish about different things. So, you might be selfish, but you're selfish about your family. You're selfish about your life. You're selfish about who you keep around you, right? Those are not bad things to be selfish about. Some people are selfish about money. Some people are selfish about power. They'll do anything to get power. So find what you are selfish about and then fight for it selfishly. Because the moment you dilute it, then it's not your thing anymore. You know, it's someone else's thing. Get people to help. If you're saying I'm starting a business, you actually have a lot of people are humble. I'll say it's an African thing. We don't really believe in doing things together, but doing things together is very, very difficult to get things moving. In the sense of you rarely find a business that was started by two people who do the same thing. So like you do a podcast, you're in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Imagine if there was another presenter, right? Then you're asking me a question. I'm like, that's good. Then he's asking something else.
Yeah.
You guys are doing the same job. You're both on camera, but your journalistic ability and his journalistic ability, even if they're the same, there are certain things you care about more than another journalist. So I think you should always be selfish about that's why the office called boss or manager was created to be headstrong on what like the main objectives of that thing is. If it's for charity, it's for charity. If it's for money, it's for money. So that's the only thing I would really give, and something that I still struggle with up to now. Because one of the things is like you want everyone to be motivated, so you want like different ideas. You have to know what your negotiables are and what your non-negotiables are, and then lock those two things differently. And I think that's the only advice I can really, really give on being selfish on your ideas, what you care about, because the other person that you're compromising for is also very selfish about what they want to do. You know, so yeah, that would be my advice.
This is gonna be the final question.
Final question.
So, you've been here for 5 years. So within these 5 years, would there be anything that you wish you have done different?
And I think about that a lot, but then I've always had this belief that if you change one thing, the good or the bad, it's probably not worth changing. So like, there's no one specific thing I would do that I would change, because I've made a lot of mistakes, like plenty of mistakes, but I wouldn't change them because the suffering that I got from that forced me to learn and be a better person. So I wouldn't change one specific thing. Maybe be more serious in Polish. Yeah, that's the generic answer, but I wouldn't change anything specifically.
I understand. That's amazing. So we are at the end of our show. So we have this culture in Ego. We want to create the culture in Ego. We want to celebrate you, and we want to give you flowers that you deserve for all the achievements that you have done. So the production team have actually arranged a champagne to open for you. Yeah. So I would this will be the champagne. You should open it.
Like here now?
Yeah, on the camera.
Now you can do the orders. So like it's bad manners to open it somewhere else. So you can do the orders.
Oh, okay.
You can do the orders.
I would open it for you then. Can someone get a knife or something? Oh, no, I got it done.
Fine, and then you break someone's life. Break someone's life.
You're not gonna break someone's legs. So this is gonna be for the celebration. Oh, it blasted. Yeah.
Good if you break the last one.
We have actually glasses. Yeah.
From water to wine.
From water to wine to champagne. Yeah. Wow.
Thank you.
You have to overflow it, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for being our first guest.
Cheers. Pleasure was all mine.
Yeah. So cheers for you. It's a bit messy here, but yeah, this is for good cause. So any last words after?
No, I just want to thank you, man, for inviting me. I know you guys are doing a really great job. I was very comfortable. Yeah. I laughed probably more today than I did in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Which is a good sign. And the beauty of podcasts or interviews, you learn more about yourself by being questioned and being challenged, and you've done that so well. And this is for both of us, not just me. And I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your kind words. We're happy that we put some laughter in your life.
Yeah, it's Poland.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. This has been a wonderful episode. If you watched until this time, just like and share, subscribe, and everything which is possible to do in YouTube. So thank you, man.
Thank you.
Good night.